I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The idea of going to the Standard Hotel, the High Line, staycation, and fucking in the window. And we went for it. You know what I mean? I had the idea, and I said, I'm doing it. I'm not just going to talk about it. So I went on to Hotels.com, got us a room at the Standard Hotel here in New York, which is like a small chain of hotels. There's one in downtown L.A. That's where I stayed when we did the Netflix thing. And that one's crazy because there's homeless people all over the place, but it's like a hipster hotel. It's very strange.
Very strange. It's cutesy, tootsy, artsy fartsy in there, but yeah, outside it looks like a what do you call that? Not Murderer's Row.
Oh, Skid Row.
Skid Row. Where do they get that Skid Row?
I just read the Wikipedia. Do you find this as you get older? I don't retain information anymore. I was like, what's the origin of Skid Row? I read the whole Wikipedia. I got nothing.
Come on!
I can picture that it's way back. It's from way, way back, and there's they have here's some examples of Skid Rows, and now it's most synonymous with L.A., of course, but it goes way back to the Depression, I think, maybe earlier than that. I think it's Depression, maybe. I can't retain.
You retain water. You just think skid mark or skid. It's a bad blemish on the street, and it kind of works. It sounds right. It's like an onomatopoeia, skid mark or Skid Row.
Don't you hate that feeling? I read books, and I'm like, that book was great. I loved it. And people are like, well, what happened with the thing? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I gave up reading. I can't retain any of it. I feel the same way. Maybe it's podcasts. Maybe we just put something right in our ear, and we're just used to that. But then you read now, and it just goes right out.
Well, you get older. I mean, I was thinking about this. I was talking to Sarah about this. We were driving up, and I got the XM radio on, and Good Lovin' comes on. Good Lovin', do-do-do-do. And I'm singing every word. I know every single word, and I'm like, I haven't heard the song in 20 years. I never owned the album. It's just lodged back there.
Yep.
And that's back there. But I read, Tony V has a great joke about it, great comic from Boston, and he says, people tell him directions stuff. He's like, I'm sorry, I got Bon Jovi lyrics up here that just aren't going anywhere. So you can tell me whatever you want. I'm just not going to remember it because you got Jovi lyrics from 84 jammed in there.
I know, but I think when it's on a rhythm, you remember. That's why you remember the ABCs. That's 26 random letters in a certain wacky order, but you go, A, B, F, he, ha, ha, and you got it. Boom. The rhythm.
Yeah, it's repetition, because I think that every once in a while we'll go out for an acting thing, almost never, but whatever. But you think about how do these guys remember every line? There's 3-hour movies where one guy's in every scene.
Yeah.
But we're able to, I know every line to Goodfellas because it's just repetitive. I've seen it so many times. I could type the script to Goodfellas without a blemish.
Yeah, and it's also funny because, our act is an hour, and then you always get some Tom, Dick, or Anal coming up to you going, how the hell do you remember all that shit? And you go, I wrote it. That's how I remember it, and I've said it 8,000 times on 3 million shows.
Yeah, exactly. So any tits, I don't even know I got us started on that. Remembering.
Oh, you got no receipt? You don't retain.
Oh,
you didn't retain just then.
We started with the Standard, then we went to Skid Row, then I read Wikipedia, and then we went off on that tangent. But anyways, I booked the room at the Standard, $170 with tax, and I got a high up floor. I was like, give me the highest floor you got. 17th floor. It's above the High Line, which is this beautiful long stretch of a park on the west side, right on the Hudson River. And we go there, and it's a sex hotel. That's where it was all the exhibitionists would go and have sex in the window. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I think that's settled down a little bit, but it's still very sexy. It's dark in there, and there's all weirdo lighting and lamps and velvet couches or felt. I can't remember which one's which.
Either way, somebody got felt up.
Velveeta. We go in there, and the lady's all sexy. She's got tattoos and a tight skirt, and she's like, you guys staying here? And we're like, yeah, I want to go fuck in the window. Give me the key.
Yes.
And you go in the elevator. The elevator, it's pitch black, and there's this kooky movie playing on the wall. So you're in this dark elevator with like a wacky movie playing. It's super sexy and weird, and the room is big. It's a big room for Manhattan. And the bed is low. It's just like a cushion on the floor.
Oh,
the TV's on the floor. The window is floor to ceiling, all the way across. Huge view of downtown, Jersey City, the whole thing. And we got a little wraparound couch in the room. The shower has a bathtub in it, and there's a window from the living room area or whatever they call it, where the bedroom is, into the shower, so you can lay in bed and watch your partner shower.
Wow, the Weinstein.
I mean, it is a sex hotel, and we did some fucking, and I put my dick up against the window. I threw cum at the window like multiple MIGs. I mean, it was exciting. But then you finish fucking and shower, and you're like, all right, now what do we do? Everything's closed. So we walked down in your neck of the way. We went down to the cellar and had dinner. Louie and Griffin met up, and Liz, and we wore our masks. We sat inside. We told some stories, had some yarns. I picked up Magnolia cupcakes and banana pudding for everybody. I was like a king in there. I tossed out cupcakes to the staff and to everybody.
Banana pudding.
That's their big thing. I don't have the banana pudding, but everyone talks about the banana pudding at what's the place called again?
Magnolia?
Magnolia, yeah. And they love it.
I can't think of a worse combination of things except for like jizz and anal. I don't know. That Magnolia banana pudding. Come on. What are we doing to ourselves? We got all these options for pudding. Give me a chocolate or a tapioca.
I'm not a fan either, but I'm glad you're saying this because I felt like an asshole because everyone's having that pudding. The staff, everyone's sharing spoons. It was a whole situation, but I stuck with the cupcakes. But
yeah, that sounds like something that comes out of a monkey's asshole.
Well, it was a beautiful night. We went back, and I can't recommend a staycation enough. These hotels, it's such a sexy hotel, and you're up over the whole city, way up in the sky, and really, really loved it. Highly recommend.
All right. Woo, that sounds nice. What a nice little trip, but it didn't feel weird. Like, all right, now we'll go to this place we've been to 16,000 times.
Well, it was a little weird because you're just like, well, what else are we going to do? That part's a little strange. I did have the moment. Do you have this? Where you do something, and then in the middle of it, you're like, what am I doing? Am I an asshole? Does everyone think I'm a fucking idiot?
Oh,
because
that's why I can't smoke weed.
We go out, we have sex in the hotel. It's beautiful. We take our photos. We snuggle up. We take a sexy shower. We walk down. We get Magnolia cupcakes. We meet up with some friends. We eat dinner, and then you're like, I could just go home right now. I live a half hour from here. We're going to a hotel. What are we doing?
But it's the idea.
Yeah, and it was nice to wake up in Manhattan the next day. We went and got coffee. We walked around. And I'll tell you what, we might do it for 2 or 3 days just to live like rich Manhattanites for a few days.
Good for you, Fatty. You earned it. I mean, that's what life's all about. I mean, do we need to go home for Thanksgiving? Do we need to have a turkey? Do we need to blow our children? Do we need to have lights on the tree and all that shit? No, of course not. But you do it, and it's fun, and it's magical, and it's tradition.